Hello, I'm Barry White, and I serve on the Secretary on the Board of Directors for the Masonic Library and Museum of Indiana, and I'm current Worshipful Master of the Dwight L. Smith Lodge of Research, UD. Today I'm going to talk to you briefly about the Masonic Library and Museum of Indiana, the Dwight L. Smith Lodge of Research, and preserving the history in your own lodge. The Masonic Library and Museum of Indiana is the Grand Lodge's official repository of Masonic artifacts and printed materials pertaining to the Masonic history of Indiana. It also contains items of Masonic interest from other Masonic jurisdictions around the world, as well as items of general fraternal interest from other fraternal organizations, both Masonic and non-Masonic. In our vast collection, we have a complete set of both the Grand Lodge Annual Proceedings and the Indiana Freemason magazine, which are available to the craft to research. Check out the library and museum at mlmindiana.org. The Dwight L. Smith Lodge of Research is a special purpose lodge under dispensation created by the Grand Lodge of Indiana F&AM for the purpose of furthering research and interest in the history, customs, and societal impact of the Masonic fraternity. Our mandate is to study these areas from a worldwide perspective, but with a particular emphasis on how they have impacted the lives of Masons, their families, and the general public in the state of Indiana. Any Master Mason in good standing is eligible to become a member of the Dwight L. Smith Lodge of Research. If you love history, join us. You can download a petition on our website at dlslodgeofresearch.net. History can simply be broken down into three categories: oral, which is oral stories passed down to us through the generations to the next; written or documented, which gives us the ability to pick up a book or look on the internet to be able to research a particular topic; and artifacts and exhibits, being able to look at tangible objects, and sometimes the option of being able to actually touch a piece of history. Each lodge has the ability and should also want to preserve their own unique history. Throughout my travels to various lodges, lodge history is usually talked about at one point or another during the evening. When it comes to preserving a lodge's history, I'm often asked, where do we start and how do we accomplish this? My response is always the same: what do you want the end result to be? A lot of lodges over the years have had members that took the time to document their lodge history, from its beginnings to a particular date and time, preparing for an anniversary of their lodge. If this is the case in your lodge, all someone would have to do is step forward and take on the task of updating where the lodge history left off and bring it up to the current year. I always suggest starting with the oldest members of your lodge first. Ask them to tell you about the earliest memories they have of past lodge events, about deceased brothers, community events, etc. The reason I suggest starting with the brothers first is this: God can call any of us home at any given moment. Do not miss the opportunity to gain valuable knowledge from the members by choosing to start somewhere else. I would suggest that when interviewing or talking with the brethren, use a tape recorder. That way you can go back and replay it as many times as you want. The second step would be for a brother to read the minutes and annual reports of your lodge. These are interesting to read and can provide valuable information for your research. One of the things I enjoy most about traveling to other lodges is touring the lodge and looking at all the unique items that each lodge owns. Unfortunately, most lodges usually store their old items in a dark, moldy closet, in drawers that haven't been pulled out in decades, attics, or smelly basements. This is not a good idea to preserve artifacts. If a lodge wants to preserve their history, then they should have two things at the very least. First is a bookcase which should contain essential books for the new and experienced brothers to enjoy. Included within this collection should be any written histories of your lodge. The second is a display case to proudly display those items that are getting ruined in the moldy closet, attic, or basement. The important thing is this: it's not a matter of what size the display case or bookcase is you have at your lodge, but that you preserve your lodge history for future generations. Another option would be this: if there are multiple lodges in your county, pool your resources and create and build a small local Masonic library and museum. If you would like to see and hear an example of how one county accomplished this, travel down to Bartholomew County and take a tour of their local Masonic library and museum. I know there are some lodges that have no interest in keeping or preserving old items or books. If this is the case in your lodge, please consider donating those items to the Masonic Library and Museum of Indiana before you pitch them in the trash. You never know, you may have a unique item at your lodge, and the Library and Museum here in Indianapolis at Freemasons Hall would be glad to preserve them for you. If you have questions or need help, please don't hesitate to contact the Masonic Library and Museum of Indiana or the Dwight L. Smith Lodge of Research. We can help you or your lodge preserve your unique history. Take care, God bless, and enjoy the rest of your day.